John Lynch, this guy, if they don't, he's acting like a guy who's going to get the axe if they don't make the playoffs. And here's why. I mean, it's hard to say what he does, but someone has to answer for Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster, Javon Kinlaw, Brandon Ayuk. That's a lot. And then even like Mike McGlinchey, top 10 pick, probably not a Pro Bowler, not exactly what you're looking for, although he's a contributor. That's actually one of their best first round picks is Mike McGlinchey. Bosa's good. Trey Lance, we'll see. I like him. But the rest, I mean, those types of whiffs, someone has to answer for that. And then the fact that you don't have first round picks the next 2 years. Well, how can you trust this guy?
If there is going to be a fall guy, it's him.
It's got to be
Kyle.
him.
It's not Kyle. It's going to be him. So this week's been very interesting. Basically, John Lynch sets up an interview, or the 49ers set up an interview with Matt Mayoko. It's supposed to be puff piece, softball questions.
That's what I'm expecting.
Keep the fan base calm.
Everything's fine. Don't worry. Nothing to see here type of interview. That's not what happened.
That's not what happened at all. That man looked, I mean, obviously, I don't know body language. That man was not comfortable. The answers he gave were not.
Sweating.
Yeah.
And the questions were surprisingly blunt and pointed. Like, so.
Mayoko didn't pull punches, man. He went right for it. I got to give him that. I got to give him that, man. I do.
Look, I love Matt. I had to notice that when he sat down with Lynch, he didn't pull punches at all. Then yesterday, the first time Matt was sitting across from Kyle, right? I mean, you want to talk about crisis? Did Matt ask Kyle about a crisis?
Mm-mm.
No.
But you know why? Because
what'd you do over the bye week? And then what assignments did you give your coaches? So Kyle isn't on trial here.
No, Johnny. That's why. And that's why Matt knows that. Matt knows that to ask him that. And he knows not to ask those questions to Kyle because he knows he's not going anywhere. Second part of what made this week so interesting. DeForest Buckner talks about meeting you in the middle with the contract. And he said, listen, I wasn't talking about taking a massive pay cut, but I definitely wanted to stay here. And that only that and
took a hard line there.
But I've got the real answer to that, I believe, and he's still on this list of the hot seat thing or whatever, and you're gonna get to him as well too. But it is a problem because we're not done with the hot seat list. Don't think we're done. No. There's a problem because that was supposed to be a softball interview, right? And even though DeForest Buckner didn't really give us too much new information, it was kind of sobering to hear him say, man, I really would have loved to stay here. I kind of would have met in the middle. I wanted to get paid. I know my value and I know my worth.
Yeah.
But to hear that they didn't want to come meet me in the middle or they didn't want to meet with me and they just shipped me off to the first team that was desperate to get me, that's going to start to pile on to the things that people have already been saying about John Lynch.
Yeah. So I think when he first got here, people looked at him as, man, this guy, he played. I remember John Lynch. I respect John Lynch. And he's a straight shooter. He'll tell it like it is. If he says,
and he's great in front of the camera. That's what made that interview so surprising. Is that he's great in front of the camera. That's what he was brought to do. He's a former broadcaster. The man speaks well, but he was like,
he looked disheveled. He looked free. He looked like he needed a haircut and a shower. Sorry, John. It looked as a bad look. He looked like a man who was in a bad position. Like he looked like his standing is weak right now in the organization.
He feels it.
You got to answer those questions from Matt. I mean, Kyle doesn't.
Nope.
Kyle doesn't.